And
So I think that part of the reason why you might be running into all of these difficulties with respect to the different factual circumstances is because you're not focusing on the fact that there are times in which the government can, depending on the circumstances, encourage, perhaps even coerce, because they have a compelling interest in doing so. And so that's why I keep coming back to the actual underlying First Amendment issue, which we can isolate in this case and just talk about coercion. But I think that you have to admit that there are certain circumstances in which the government can provide information, encourage the platforms to take it down, tell them to take it down. I mean, what about the hypo of someone posting classified information? They say, it's my free speech right. I believe that I got access to this information and I want to post it. Are you suggesting that the government couldn't say to the platforms, we need to take that down?
No, Your Honor, because I think that would be a great example where strict scrutiny would cut in the government's favor.
All right. So what do we do then in a situation in which, I mean, I suppose in this case we're asking, the government's point is we didn't coerce, and I appreciate, the debate about that. But you just seem to suggest that as a blanket matter, the government doesn't have the ability to, encourage or require this kind of censorship. And I don't know that that's the case.
So, Your Honor, I guess this goes to the bully pulpit as well. As I understand, the bully pulpit has never been used to target the object of suppressing a third-party speech. You can use it to coerce behavior, you can use it to coerce companies to take certain actions, but when the government is identifying a specific viewpoint and specific content that it wishes to wholly eliminate from public discourse, that's, I think, when the First Amendment problem arises. And so I guess I'm struggling to find an example in the court's cases or in history where the court or anybody else has said the government, by virtue of being the government, can use its power to pressure speech intermediaries to eliminate entire viewpoints and content from the public discourse. And I think, that's Your Honor.
Can I give you a hypothetical?
Sure.
Suppose someone started posting about a new teen challenge that involved teens jumping out of windows at increasing elevations. This is the challenge. And kids all over the country start doing this. There's an epidemic. Children are seriously injuring or even killing themselves in situations. Is it your view that the government authorities could not declare those circumstances a public emergency and encourage social media platforms to take down the information that is instigating this problem?
Your Honor, the government absolutely can use the pulpit to say publicly, here's what we recognize to be a public health issue, emergency. This is obviously extremely terrible, and the public shouldn't tolerate this. The platforms, we see it's going on the platforms.
But they can't call the platforms and say, listen, we really think you should be taking this down because look at the problems that it's causing?
If it's protected speech, Your Honor, then I think we get closer. But, look, if you think if that's clearly the way you're asking the question, I understand that the instinct that may not be a First Amendment issue. I guess what I fall back on, Your Honor, is that at least where the government itself, there is no emergency like this, there's nothing.
No, my hypothetical is there is an emergency. My hypothetical is that there is an emergency, and I guess I'm asking you, in that circumstance, can the government call the platforms and say, this information that you are putting up on your platform is creating a serious public health emergency. We are encouraging you to take it down.
I was with you right until that last comment, Your Honor. I think they absolutely can call and say, this is a problem, it's going rampant on your platforms, but the moment that the government tries to use its ability as the government and its stature as the government to pressure them to take it down, that is when you're interfering with third-party speech rights.
Well,
and
even
remember,
if you... Go ahead, finish your...
Your Honor, I was just going to say, even remember that the third party here is completely absent from the conversation. The third party whose speech is being targeted and ultimately censored is absent from this discussion.